My name is Stuckey. I'm president and founder of Fair Chance Works PBC. We're based here in London, Kentucky. So the technology we initially developed for education, we revamped for purposes for workforce development. More specifically, we started working with folks in recovery. And with that population, a lot of times they're very reluctant. Many have been detached from society for long periods of time. And just getting them to speak freely and openly is quite a task. We use a lot of video technology. We use webcams to actually record these folks during interview prompts. So tell us about yourself, or what makes you special or more qualified for this job. Speak a little bit about your background. Prompts that they're likely to get in an interview setting. But by using the camera, and we start out very simple, lots of praise, we give them constant feedback after each recording they do, they really start to come out of their shell. At first, just getting them on camera, a lot are, as we often are, unfamiliar with seeing themselves behind the camera. But as the workshops progress, we see a lot of these folks coming out of their shell, not just talking about their interview skills and their qualifications for the job, but they start reaching deep and start figuring out some of the backgrounds and some of the issues and some of their own personal barriers that they need to overcome in order to get to that next step with employment. When we started Fair Chance Works, it was right in the middle of the pandemic. That by itself created quite a challenge because we were working in long-term recovery centers, and we would have to change our schedules almost on a weekly basis because they couldn't gain access to the centers, or some other things took place. But we were able to persist, and through that year-long pilot, we were able to, one, learn what we needed to learn most about working effectively with folks in recovery, and two, it allowed us to really kind of hone in on the technology and get our training set up and so forth. If I had to look back at my career in entrepreneurship, I think the one thing I wish I would have known early on was the amount of time it actually takes to be an entrepreneur, to own your own business, to act as a founder, and so forth. There are some folks that can leave the job behind them at the end of the day. 5 o'clock they're done, weekends they're off. I'm not one of those. For me, the business is kind of constant. Even when I'm going to bed at night or whatever, I'm thinking about what's going to happen the next day, or what could I do here, or how could I make that grant application a little bit better. Not to say that I can't diverge from that and find some free time, which is important, but the amount of time that you put in to running a business as a founder is extremely time consuming. And you have to be passionate about what you're doing. If you don't like what you're doing, if you're not passionate about the work you do, you're not going to succeed.